Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a happy holiday. And I'm here with my special guest, Jared from Comics League. How you doing, buddy?
What's up?
And today, this is the first New Direction video we've done in almost a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, probably around that time period.
Yeah, definitely. Hold on. And we got our first comment already. Let's arguably DC's worst event, at least until KO is finished. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right. So if this is the first time you're joining us here, we have to establish a little bit of context. New Directions just we sprinkle elements of like New 52, Rebirth, and some of our own ideas together into one cohesive narrative. Now, so far, we've done multiple videos on Young Justice, Teen Titans, Justice League, and even two new original character God Killer events. If you kept up with the channel, you probably know which ones those videos are. And what's up, Nemo? How you doing tonight? Jared, how's your perspective on this first season right now?
In terms of in terms of this, yeah, it's awesome. It's fun being able to fix a lot of the many mistakes that DC has made, and luckily, since they keep making new ones, we're never gonna run out of material.
So true, so true. Espe- but all right, but okay, this takes place technically after God Killer 2. I will not spoil that video because that's some of our best work hands down. So, but please take the time and watch that. You don't have to watch the first God Killer, but it would lead to great context. It's
Yep.
seriously, if we were part of DC editorial, they would not approve that story. Like, just no.
Hmm.
But Jerry, you want to start us off with your perspective on Heroes in Crisis, or you want to go straight into the changes?
Well, for Heroes in Crisis, the thing about the storyline is from a all right. The tragic part about Heroes in Crisis, it basically continues the same theme of a lot of Tom King's work. He has good ideas, but the problem is it's like the execution is utterly horrible because it's like the idea of like superheroes having PTSD and having to go to therapy and stuff, considering the fact what these guys go through on a daily basis, it makes sense. But it's like when you do the way he did it was just like I'm like, the hell is this?
Yeah, a lot of you can tell that idea, but how impacted with superhero being a part of a service or a public service. And now a lot of this was around the time of 5G anyway. So at least from an editorial standpoint, you could make the argument Tom King was making the best out of a bad situation. But even with what he had to work with, still just a lackluster story trying to force an editorial mandate into a murder mystery, and it just did nothing matched, none of the concepts blended together. To say the least, it was a mess. And if I was being too critical, I'd risk getting Jared demonetized.
Well, we're on your channel, so it doesn't matter, bro.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now we have to establish our changes. Now, first of all, if you've paid attention to some of our videos, although Flashpoint still happens and Wally still somewhat resents Barry over losing Linda and his children, Wally has at least a new relationship with Artemis, now going by Tigress. And if you saw and I highly recommend the Barry Allen New Direction video, just if you're curious about how Wally and Barry reconciled after God Killer 2. But afterwards is basically this is a combination of God Killer 2 and the Flash War. So God Killer 2 and Flash War both pretty much play out the same, and then we go right to Wally integrating into Sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Jared, what did you think? If there's any aspect of Sanctuary you would change prior to the tragedy that set this whole event in motion, if you could just think of anything. I know I'm putting you on the spot right now.
In terms of how I would change Sanctuary as a concept, probably that if I have to change something, it would be like it's more than like the Trinity that like established it. Like at least factor in like maybe a few of the Justice Leaguers that are actually like therapists. Oh, and also there's no like therapy that's like because a Lagoon Boy's therapy is constantly being shot in the face. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, if we had to do Heroes in Crisis, we could reference these events where these experiences stem from, but try to be decent and tame about it. don't go for shock value and gravitas. We would definitely try to hone that in.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I hate to announce this, but this would also during this time, Wally and Artemis would be on the rocks because after Wally's breakdown when he finally crashes out on Barry, Artemis or Tigress, however you want to refer to her as, and for full disclosure, this is the Young Justice original character version, not the Amazon version. I have to make that
Mm-hmm.
clear. She's feeling more and more like a rebound to Wally as time progresses, even though Wally has genuinely committed to her. But again, he had a whole timeline, entire livelihood, and a generation of storylines and development whisked away from him off a selfish pretense. Artemis is trying to be understanding, but if it weren't for Sanctuary, Artemis would have definitely considered breaking things off with Wally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah. We're at that point where like maybe she doesn't, but like the like discussion or like the thought has popped up in her head.
so then we're gonna tie like Hunter Zolman, Wally's PTSD for everything that's happened to him. But when the Speed Force surge happens, it's gonna be a little different than how the comic plays out. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, because the thing about the way the comic plays out is it's sudden, but it's like, so you're telling me it happens because of the internet? It's like Wally goes into the computers and he gets like over traumatized by everyone else's trauma. And then it's like that causes the speed. That's not how the Speed Force works.
Now, if you want to tie to, being human and being and Wally having an emotional breakdown and causing a energy surge, yeah, but the dialogue does not make that clear. And even then, that later gets retconned anyway, like two, three times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's like that's the other thing. The problem with Tom King's writing is that he has these ideas and he tries to justify it, but then what he doesn't realize is that okay, you say these things like, oh my gosh, you have oh, it's because of like he's traumatized and all that stuff, or it's like there are other things that are influencing him. Okay, well, you have to say that in the book. It doesn't say in the book.
And yes, so, very much true. Sorry, I lose my train of thought. So the Trinity figure out what happened with the massacre, but anomalies are off the charts. And these numbers that not even Barry has pulled off. This came in from another dimension. And Batman
Exactly.
says something along the lines of, I've rated both Wally and Barry's data with both potential kinetic energy and collaboration with Mr. Terrific. Even under distress, they could never have channeled these numbers, let alone the energy feedback that's surging around this dimension. This wasn't a speedster couldn't have done this, at least not at Wally or Barry's level.
And then Wonder Woman would probably ask, okay, so what other speedsters do we know that could possibly reach this level?
For one, the Speed Force is just potential kinetic energy on a cosmic scale. So if you have a positive aspect or a positive charge, there has to be a negative one as well. So if tachyons can enhance positive Speed Force energy, what enhance negative Speed Force energy? So you think a rogue speedster did this? But Barry forgave Thawne. He broke the loop. Maybe in terms of Thawne's madness and obsession. But if you forcibly break a time loop, you only create a paradox. You think Barry would have learned that the last time he pulled a stunt like this.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually really good. It's but so it's like Clark would ask, so you think Eobard has something to do with it?
Or with Eobard no longer in play, the negative Speed Force is yearning for a new avatar. And what better way to cause strife and discord is to target the heroes where they most. The negative Speed Force is no different than chaos magic. It feeds on any strife, chaos, or maliciousness of any kind. And Wally, and given everything that's happened to Wally since Flashpoint, I'm surprised it didn't go to him.
Okay, that works. So, and then Diana asked, "You don't really think Wally or Barry are capable of this, do you?"
Of course not, Diana. We have to consider the possibilities. Still, Bruce, after everything that's happened, contingencies are important, Clark. And something tells me if your doppelganger's anything to go by, he'd back me up on this. My doppelganger, whether he stemmed from a previous timeline or not, forgave you only because those contingencies were objectively necessary. Letting them be stolen was foolish, and I agree. It seems in that previous timeline my doppelganger had gotten soft in his old age. Either that or he was outmaneuvered by Ra's al Ghul.
Okay. Let's see what else. So in other words, so are we keeping the peddler thing in there, or are we dropping that? Because I always felt that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that did get weird at a certain point.
And I think it's safe to say Lois does not dox the superhero community like she does in the original book.
Lois doesn't, but instead, another reporter, Linda Park.
Ooh, do you want to? Okay, we can go with that.
Then Wally chases after her, and I'm like, Linda, I know you're a struggling reporter. This is a big story, but you can't expose them. These heroes and metahumans have fought long and hard to keep what little agency they can. If you expose this, if you leak this, a lot of damage is going to come from it. Then Linda questions, give me one good reason why I should. And then Wally takes off his mask for her. You may not know me, but my name is Wally West. I know the type of person you are, your ambition, your dedication, and your commitment to being a reporter in the truth. But is this really the way you want to make your big break at the expense of others? And a leak that easily could have been orchestrated by a villain?
Okay. And then Linda can say, the public has a right to know.
Not like this. There's always a better way.
And then Linda can say, maybe for you all that like love in your ivory tower in the Hall of Justice, but not for us.
I can only imagine what it's like to have no powers and on the ground, constantly amidst the damage heroes and villains alike leave in their wake. But two wrongs don't make a right. This is a tragedy, not a headline, and whoever orchestrated it will answer for it. If you're that adamant, just give me a few days, a week tops. If I can expose the villain in that time frame, you don't leak the story. Is that a fair wager?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
All right, Speedy Gonzalez. You have 1 week. I'm sorry, I could just see Linda saying that. I could easily see Linda saying that.
Speedy Gonzalez, my God, that's so good.
And then right when they come to this agreement, let's just say a certain device goes off. Yes, if you remember from Heroes in Crisis, Poison Ivy was one of the casualties and Harley Quinn is on a tear. So rather than fighting off the Justice League, Harley just rallies a bunch of henchmen and abducts Linda. Even though Harley is a reformed anti-villain who snuck Ivy onto Sanctuary in the first place.
Okay. And obviously she doesn't take out the entire Trinity.
Like I said, this is replacing that.
Good. But so let me see. All right. So okay, so Len is abducted by Harley. Okay.
Because Harley believes Wally lost control and then spun the story to the Trinity in an attempt to save face. So we're technically following Harley's perspective throughout this. Because again, one of the biggest players in the story was Harley, Wally, and Booster Gold.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then Harley says, "All right, doll. Now you're going to tell me the truth about what happened here."
I only know what my source conferred to me.
And who's your source?
A good reporter never discloses.
You're no fun.
You see, doll, I've done that whole song and dance crap for years, whether it be with Mr. J or the B-Man. And I lost practically my best friend and love of my life to what essentially boils down to a super speed temper tantrum. So you're not gonna bullshit me. Copy?
Goddamn G. Is there a DC character you really can't voice?
I haven't found one yet.
Well done, sir. Well, I know. So far you are now Constantine and Harley Quinn.
Yeah, let's try not to make that a thing.
Good, there you go. But then, Batman shows up, shows over Quinn.
On really, Bats? You're gonna pull this now? I practically have a confession and all, but damn name.
Kidnapping leading to that confession invalidates the confession.
Not to mention the distress factor when you blew up my apartment. Trust me, Harles, this would never hold up in court. Quiet, you!
God damn.
I know you grieve for Pamela Harley, but this isn't the way. We already have a lead on who's behind this. I know you were targeted by other villains in the aftermath, but Superman, Wonder Woman, and I have ascertained the situation. You don't need to harm an innocent life. You're not that person anymore, and you certainly aren't him. Don't you do that, Bats. Don't you drag Joker into this. I didn't say anything about Joker, Harley, but I know what you became under his influence. You don't have to go this route. Low blow, B-Man. Even for you. Don't make me do something I'm going to regret.
Okay, so then Harley like goes, fair enough, B-Man. We'll do it your way, as long as there is some someone I can punch along the way. Where's that guy Gardner? I know you guys seem to enjoy that.
I can't condone assaulting a coworker, but I can keep you informed on the case, as long as you agree not to violate your probation any more you already have by harming anyone. Miss Park,
All right.
Miss Park, do you agree to drop? If I'm promptly compensated, I can be convinced to drop the charges. The apartment was evacuated ahead of time, so you knew Harley might pull a stunt like this. I'm aware of what Harley Quinn is capable of, especially when transpired against.
All right. And then Harley goes, Bats, did you use her as bait to draw me out?
I didn't have to. I was really following Flash here, who endangered her in the first place by confronting her.
Okay.
Oh, so now you
know you, Bats.
I thought you and the other Flash patch things up. I wouldn't go that far, but I don't hate him anymore for what happened. Besides, I was the one who got baited by Solomon and nearly caused an interdimensional collapse. You worried for your children, Wally. Any father would. Solomon used that against you, nothing more.
Okay, so then let's move on. Let's see. Where else can we go to now? All right, so we did. Okay. All right, so we can go. Superman and Wonder Woman are still scanning the crime scene, and so Superman's like, honestly, I don't know what to believe with this guy, because on one hand, I don't want to believe that it's Wally. However, with what he went through, particularly recently, Bruce is right. I really don't want to let my friendship with Wally cloud my judgment.
You're being professional, Diana. There's nothing wrong with that. You've already had a
talking as Clark, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can only imagine, Clark, given you getting your mantle back and everything else that's happened this past year. I was always going to do the right thing, Diana. It doesn't matter whether I'm Superman or Scion. Still, Clark was a loving husband and father. He deserved to go out better than what Thor did to him. All the more reason we help the people who fell in Sanctuary.
So, and then this is when Clark's heat vision, X-ray vision picks up a clue as to who is actually behind this. I'm reading I'm getting some strange, like, it seems like static, but it's with my X-ray vision. It's almost like it's this weird energy radiation.
You want to follow it? Let's be careful. And then he gets a call from Mr. Terrific. I'm like, Superman, Diana, I got those energy readouts back. It's Savitar. What? That self-proclaimed speed god? Didn't he get sealed? He was sealed in the Speed Force a few years back. I guess the surge in Sanctuary allowed him to escape. But his energy levels are completely off the charts. Did he willingly use the negative Speed Force in an attempt to get out? No. Using the positive negative Speed Force is convulsatory. They're two polar. Unless you have proper balance, you would inevitably implode from the energy discharge. Savitar's vain has a god complex, but he's not stupid.
We have to handle this very quick, very careful. So Clark says, Michael, pass this information over to Bats and call one of the lanterns. We have to handle this very carefully because from what you're saying, his interaction with the Speed Force supercharged Savitar. So unless we want some type of Speed Force storm or time travel storm happening, we need to handle this very carefully.
A little too late for that because both Seattle and I almost said Coast City. What? Emerald City. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Oh, okay. Both Seattle and Emerald City are being torn asunder by Savitar going Mach 2. Barry's trying to keep up how he can, but he's getting thrashed. Any casualties? Mostly civilians, but one hero. Terrific. Who's down? Confirmed kill. Tigress. I'm so sorry, Wally.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And Wally just loses it.
Is the way I could imagine this, if this were a panel, it would be like all you see, it's like on the screen, like on the page, you just see it's Artemis and it's like confirmed kill, and then all you just see is like while he just take off running after Savitar, and then Superman's like, God damn it, he's going to cause more damage. Wally, be advised. Barry, be advised. Wally is inbound, and he is really pissed off right now.
Then Wallace was Kid Flash because we're in the Jeremy Adams run, so Wallace or Ace definitely would have got his powers by now. Ace tries to intercept Wally, and that does not go well at all. Wally just completely blitzes Ace and breaks one of his legs.
Okay, that works. It's like, it's like. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's kind of played up as a comedic moment because, again, speedsters have healing factors. Yeah, Ace is in a lot of pain, and he'll probably heal after a couple of hours. But this is a rookie who is stupid enough to take on a pissed-off Wally West at top speed.
Isn't it like with the Tomorrowverse, you had like that one Tomorrowverse, DCAU, when Superman broke Barry's leg and then Barry's like, seriously?
Yes, Decamu, but yes.
Yeah, that works. I like that. And then Wally goes, sorry, you're not stopping me. Savitar is going to die. And he just takes off.
You'll heal. You'll heal. Get over it. Seriously? First I get my power siphoned, then I have a broken leg for my trouble. Honestly. If this guy wasn't my estranged cousin, I swear. And then Wally catches up to Savitar, and Savitar's like, now again, I'm kind of mixing the, think of the comic Savitar, but with the exosuit from the CW shows.
Okay, I see.
The prodigal son returns. Looks like Abracadabra couldn't keep you caged after all.
And Wally goes, you are a god, right?
Okay, I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see if you bleed.
Yeah, exactly what I was going for. Thank you. Exactly what I was going for. And then they like have this. Except the fights are the way I would imagine speedster fights. At least if I were doing this from a visual perspective for a movie, it would be like kind of like I can't remember going to use this analogy in the Sonic movies where like the two speedsters like bash into each other and stuff. It's less like they run side by side and somehow this counts as fighting.
No, like this is felt all over the world. Energy surges, typhoons, mass hysteria, power outages. Like this is a full-on brawl. Brawl just half across the continental US. Just two speedsters beating the tar out of each other.
And then Clark goes, Wally, and then Wally goes, don't stop me, Clark. And then Clark goes, okay, I'm not going to stop you. Can you at least get him away from a city before you beat the crap out of him?
I don't care, Clark. He killed Artemis.
All right. Superman to any active Justice Leaguers that have speed powers, we need to incapacitate Wally West and Savitar. Wally has lost total control. Incapacitate only. As far as Savitar, incapacitate only. But do not, I repeat, do not put civilians at risk. The Trinity and I are en route immediately, but try to minimize civilian casualties.
Oliver and all this, he's actually seeing blood. And remember, Roy was one of the casualties in Heroes in Crisis. So the kid finally snapped, huh? A shame he took Roy with him. The only one who actually pays attention to Oliver and all this is Black Canary and Batman, and Oliver is literally trying to line a shot right when Wall and Savitar are coming into view, like Roadrunner and Coyote. Like he has an arrow that's going to probably glaze right off the side of Wally's head. Don't do it, Oliver. He killed my boy, Bats. You know why I have to do this. Just because you punked out in Bosnia doesn't mean I have to. That's not what happened.
And then Dinah says, you know that wasn't Wall. You know that was Savitar.
Really? Because even with Flashpoint, Wally lost the most value to him and ended up time displaced even going into that. That's more than enough to make a man snap. Savitar is just a convenient scapegoat. Then who's to blame, Ollie? Savitar was supposed to be safe. Majority of metas had their powers sanctioned, but Wally didn't. You can't siphon speedsters because their energy, because the source of their powers are unconventional. Or was it just a blatant oversight? You knew as well as I did Wally was spiraling. At least while in Sanctuary in the literal pocket dimension, he couldn't harm anyone. As long as you kept his potential kinetic energy monitored, right? Is that how you explained it, Bruce?
And then Batman basically says, don't turn this on me. Take it from me. If you take a life, that will stay with you.
I've done it before. You've never had the balls to do what need to be done, Bats. Why anyone respects you is beyond me.
And then Batman hits a switch on his belt, and then the bow falls apart. Contingency plan.
All right. Fine. I'll let him get. I could stretch my legs. You're grieving, Ollie. You don't want to fight me.
Oliver, remember, the reason why I invited you to the Justice League is because I needed someone to keep us down to earth. If you do this, you become no better than them.
You're not fighting the Green Arrow. You're fighting Oliver Queen, a man with nothing to lose and who just had to bury his boy. A bastard like you has no idea what that's like.
Don't I? I had to deal with Jason Todd.
You supported Jason to the bitter end. I failed Roy. I pushed him away at his worst. He got hooked because of me. Every opportunity, I pushed him away. I couldn't handle the responsibility.
And then Dinah says, taking a life is not going to bring Roy back.
Stay out of this, Dinah. You're just as sick of Bruce's self-righteous crap as much as I am. Oliver, you're compromised and you're grieving. If you fight me, this will only end badly.
And then before he can even try and attack, Wonder Woman shows up and wraps the lasso around him. Enough!
I handled it. You
Sure
were willing.
you did, Bruce.
You were willing to fight a friend to prove a point. Self-defense. Oliver needed the clarity.
And then Diana and then Dinah goes, "You weren't actually going to punch him, were you?"
That depends on Oliver.
Don't ever don't ever play poker against you.
You don't have enough money to keep up in a game of poker with me.
And then Clark goes, I can testify that I've lost a lot of cash to Bruce. And then Diana just glares at him. I promise I promise I didn't lose everything.
On a reporter's salary, it took him almost a year to pay me back.
And then Diana says, "We'll talk about this when we get home." And then Clark goes, "Yes, ma'am."
If it's any consolation, Diana, I literally bought the Daily Planet. I just took it as a tax write-off.
And then Diana goes, "Is there anything you haven't bought?"
Depends. Really? That's the only explanation? Just depends? Clark,
Exactly.
You're already in the hole more than you already are. I've been with enough ladies and even a mother of one of my children. Don't dig the hole more than you already have. Me, you shoved me in the hole. Clark.
Yeah, and then Clark goes, I've been in the hole for a while. I married an Amazon.
Not to mention, even though you got married as superheroes, you still have to go through your public identities to be legally married. Dinah was going to find out about the poker game eventually.
All right. And then Diana taps Oliver on the shoulder. Are you calm now?
Yes, dear. But I'm still pissed.
And then Diana lets him out of the lasso. And then Dinah says, "Are you going to act like an adult now?"
Please don't patronize me. I'm already.
I will treat you like an adult when you act like an adult. And then Bruce is like smiling under his cowl.
Bruce, don't smile at this. I have no idea what you mean. Besides, we have two speedsters half across the country to catch.
And then Oliver says, "Big Blue, how fast are you? Can you catch those two?"
I've raced Wally a few times, mostly for charity, but I always knew he was holding back. Even the last time I raced him trying to stop those two, him and Barry against Solomon, I could barely keep up. Wally is out for blood. But something is further intensifying his emotions. Savitar is in the negative speedster. He's a conduit.
So, and then Clark says, "Bruce, is there a way that we can drain the Speed Force from Savitar?"
It'd be impossible. The polarity of both the positive and negative Speed Force is man-made, innovated by Thawne. Whereas, even if you factor the theoretical theory of, still the mortal man, even exposed, cannot handle both polarities at the same time. Either he has to give up the negative speed willingly, or his body will implode.
So either he gives up or he ends up dying.
Pretty much. But something tells me Savitar is not the one at the helm anymore.
So you're saying he's being controlled?
That would explain the abnormal readings. Almost as if someone's wearing... Wally, stop! Poor Barry. I knew you'd figure it out sooner or later. That's not Savitar. What are you talking about? You always were such a spoiled sport. I guess it's about time I shed my skin. And then Savitar peels the skin back like it's a literal mask. And this would be like a huge horror element, so this would depend on the artist to reveal Eobard Thawne, the
It was
return.
me, Barry.
Thanks for the resurrection. Though I will admit, Savitar was not very easy to dupe. The promise of power alone wasn't enough to entice him. But one last shot at you, Barry, that was really all he wanted. And who's to say I can't blame him? And Artemis? Piece of shrapnel gutted her through the abdomen. Poor girl was trying to save a civilian.
And then Eobard says, I don't know why I never started screwing with you, Wally. Because why screw with one Flash when I can make the other Flash's life a living hell as well? 2 for the price of 1.
Besides, you always did make it oh so easy.
And then he goes, how's that wife of yours? Oh, wait, thanks to Barry, you don't have a wife.
This shouldn't be possible. On its own, it shouldn't, but that's the thing about a paradox. You never know what effect it'll have. But I'll admit, Terrific's theory wasn't too far off. I wasn't using Savitar as a conduit because I had already taken his speed and disposed of the remains.
Exactly. You can have him go, and remember, Barry, I'm a paradox. You'll never be able to kill me because I exist in all points in time. I'm not going anywhere. I will always make your life a living hell. Just like I did in that little alternate timeline of ours where Wonder Woman fought Aquaman and Batman used guns.
Well, technically, that was butterfly effect from Barry, stopping Thawne from killing his mom.
Yeah, but in the comics, it was also due to Eobard at least taunting him to do it, though. That's kind of
he played a role. I'll give you that. He played a role.
That's what. Let me put it this way: it was created by both of them. That's kind of what I'm going for here.
Yeah, Thawne egged Barry on to going through with it. Barry is the one who actually did the deed.
Yeah, exactly. So Barry, what's it like screwing up a timeline? Because I gotta say, I've been trying that for so many years, but you, buddy, you are a Picasso at screwing up time.
Was that all this about? Feeding on Wally's fear and trauma? Wally was a basket case ready to go off. All I did was add a little bit of strife to contain the explosion. And get a new body to boot. Your little rebound, Wally, was nothing more than collateral damage.
And then Eobard says, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. In fact, you know what? As she bled out on the floor, the last thing she said, she had your name on her lips. And before I finally erased her, I told her, Wally's not coming.
See you around, Flash. And then Thawne just speeds off.
Yeah, he just runs into like a portal. And then the lanterns show up and Hal goes, I leave Earth for 5 minutes and the whole place goes to hell.
Really, Hal? Right now?
What? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Too soon?
Yeah.
Shut up, Hal. Did you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know? When cosmic forces, did you know? I didn't know Thawne would target her. Barry, think for 2 seconds. Who leaked Sanctuary. And how did it get to Linda specifically?
Okay, so who could be that?
If Thawne had duped Savitar into anchoring himself back to the physical plane, who would go out of his way to help him?
Okay, so that would be okay. So I'm trying to think of Flash rogues. I'm not a Flash reader. Let me be clear on that.
Let's just say Grodd had a similar scheme cooking up, and then Thawne just happened to intercede his plans.
Oh, so it would be Grodd.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And then here's what you do. Guy Gardner goes, well, it was Grodd. And then everyone just looks at him and goes, what? It's obvious.
Profound telepath, intensifies certain emotions.
And he's like, I'm the only one that has inventive thinking, I guess.
Yeah, Thawne was killed off. Thawne unalived Godspeed at the tail end of the Jeremy Adams run.
Mm-hmm.
After he openly admitting to unaliving his brother and sending August Hart on his path to begin with.
Yeah.
I thought about bringing Godspeed back for this, but I remembered he was unalived in the Jeremy Adams run.
And honestly, using Eobard just works so much better.
Yeah, and Inertia, he's just the Kid Flash. Inertia's more of a Bart villain than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like giving Superboy Prime a main role prior to his character arc. It's just going to come across edgy and contrived.
Yeah, case in point, Infinite Crisis.
The social commentary was there, but the story was lackluster.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the Superboy Prime story was lackluster. I still say that's like the original Crisis trilogy, that is the best one in my opinion.
Bartor was basically the speedster equivalent of Booster Gold, but here in the New Direction verse, he's a bit more heroic.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other like members of essentially like you could have Superman walks up to Wally. Are you okay?
Wally says nothing. He then goes to Linda, tells her the truth that this was the work of two villains plans convoluting and intersecting with each other. And Linda, out of decency for Artemis's death, agrees to bury the story, or doesn't go through with leaking it.
And then finally, because of this is the New Direction verse, so we can fix mistakes, Clark goes, hey, Vic, do you mind hacking into the internet and deleting all files from Sanctuary that could have been dumped on the internet or like on any Google Drives or anything like that?
I could scrub it, but it would take at least a day.
Do it.
All right, starting now.
And then Diana says, what do we do about Sanctuary?
Sanctuary still has a principle. We were compromised because Wally ended up there. Wally himself was the weak link because he was the most mentally unstable. But someone had to have known he was there. Do you think someone's compromised? Mind control? Or the simple fact a villain was stowed away in Sanctuary to begin with?
Who do you think?
Ivy was a confirmed casualty too, and even this new version who sprouted from the green has no memory of it. So whether Ivy was in on Grodd's initial con, we don't know, and Grodd's not giving anything up. He's still held up in Iron Heights. Grodd obviously used a middleman, but until Grodd gives them up, we can't prove anything.
Okay.
Wally decides to meet up with Artemis's parents to have a private ceremony. until Sportsmaster arrives. Count your days, kid. My baby, she may have been a rebound to you, but that was my baby girl. And I'm gonna make sure you pay, even if I have to hunt you to the ends of the earth. So run, Wally. Run.
God damn it, Shahid. That gave me chills.
Yeah, Sportsmaster's more of a golden age C-list villain, so he's pretty hard to make menacing. But I try.
Yeah, yeah. Plus a dude that used essentially a villain version of Casey Jones. Yeah, that's really hard to make actually like an evil dude.
But yeah, that's the biggest mystery going into this. The epilogue issue would be interrogating New Ivy, who was sprouted from the green, or bloomed, as it were. But New Ivy has no memory prior to the speed surge. So there's no way to directly prove whether Ivy was Grodd's middleman or not.
Yeah, exactly. So and we could do to a little like tie-in thing. You know how like Heroes in Crisis had those like interview segments with each of the heroes? Instead of those, what we could do and the aftermath of this is have it where each of those is like the telepaths and Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth is being used. They're basically asking everyone that's associated with Sanctuary in a way to like establish like who had the most solid alibi and see if they can like detect any like remnants of Zod's mind control.
Grodd. But so yeah, they go through the interview portions. No one really sticks out, but they have Martian Manhunter. Though Martian Manhunter says Martians don't condone mind probing, he could pretty much he would sense if something was unawares.
Yeah, exactly.
Though we were supposed to get a new admission, Gotham Girl, after what happened to her brother and her torment from the Medusa, from Hugo Strange and the Medusa mask, but she never showed up for admission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she Gotham. She Bruce, weren't you actively helping her and her brother? They were practically daytime heroes, so you and Selina could finish tying the knot. Holy crap! It was staring us right in the face the entire time.
I see what you're doing. That's actually a great idea.
Gotham Girl wasn't compromised. She genuinely didn't show up so she'd have an alibi. She ditched all adjacent communications and went off the grid. Alfred confirmed she left the manor at 0200 a.m. Alfred even has a broken arm to prove it. Wally wants to go after her, but the Justice League decides to have him suspended. Even if he didn't directly intention it, Wally's did go off the deep end and cause a lot of collateral damage hunting down Thawne/Savitar.
And beyond that, he is emotionally compromised, so it just makes sense to have him just set this one out. We'll take care of it, Wally. Trust us. We'll take care of it.
And then maybe do a mini series with like Flash versus Sportsmaster, and then just Sportsmaster using his connections to hunt Wally down.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like to hunt down Gotham Girls when Superman and Wonder Woman take the lead because they're like the only people remotely as powerful to fight her. So they call in Kara, Donna, and Cassie to actually in other words, they call in all the bruisers on the league, even like Power Girl as well, so that they like have stacked power in order to like hunt down Gotham Girl.
Yeah, the Gotham and Gotham Girl tie-in would just be a reveal. Would just reveal Gotham Girl. We would just have Gotham himself succumb to the complications from his powers at a slightly earlier point.
Yeah, yeah. And then the loss of Gotham is what made maybe Gotham Girl that's susceptible to falling under that control.
Because again, Gotham and Gotham Girl went abroad to get it and were experimented on, and then the more they use their powers, the more it eats their metabolism and their vitality. Gotham ended up overexerting himself, and then Hugo Strange gets his hands on the Medusa mask. They both go crazy, and then Gotham becomes unhinged, leading up to his final moments. And Gotham Girl herself is so traumatized from her brother's death that she pretty much just has a manic episode and completely shuts down. But Gotham Girl teaming up with Bane for City of Bane, we're not we're setting up for that, Tevia.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we're having Gotham Girl's heel turn here instead of solely in Batman. But I think that covered the main premises. Do you want to cover any tie-in issues or any tie-in plots?
No, I think we're good. I think we basically like address that because it's just like the tie-in issues would just be like maybe like again like you said, the Wally and Sportsmaster thing, and tie-ins throughout this could be like Bruce having Oracle like access the satellite feeds to see what happened with Sanctuary. Be like some select heroes dealing with like what happened at Sanctuary while they're also trying to like stop Wally. And obviously the Flash one, well, you could even see you could do a Flash one where it's from Wally's perspective as he's hunting down Earbarb, and then it's like he thinks he's so blinded he doesn't see the damage until he stops running and he turns around and he sees like there's just a swath of destruction from how hard he's been running.
Yeah, but wait, there's one character we forgot in all this, Booster Gold. Because Booster Gold technically would be on the run while the initial investigation's going on.
Okay.
So maybe like one of the two issues of the main series, Booster Gold ends up, okay, so I have all this feature tech. Let's see what I can work with. And Booster Gold can't really connect the dots because he's constantly on the run. But once he teams up with Ted Kord, they piece it together. And then this isn't a villain team up. These are two separate villain plots culminating around the same time. One, and then right when they finally think they got the jump on Grodd, Ted is, and it reveals, well, it's an ambush, and who's leading them? Maxwell Lord.
I love that. That works.
Basically, a recreation of what leads to Infinite Crisis.
That works for me. I like that.
Rather than a direct altercation, Booster and Ted try to put a bit of a fight, but then Skeets leads Booster away while Ted stays behind and sacrifices himself so they can get away.
I dig that. That works for me.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
What's up?
And Booster is so devastated for losing his best friend again in another timeline. Once he finally finds out that Gotham Girl was the mole, Booster completely beelines to the Watchtower to confront and pick a fight with Bruce. So basically, basically everything that led up to Ted's original death, just in a slightly more dignified manner. Ted's actually able to put up a fight this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Anything you would like to add, Jared?
Nah, I think that's about all I got.
Okay, well, let us know what you guys think. Before we go, there's a few things I want to announce. First of all, Jared, he's got the last week of his comics campaign is out. Athena, Goddess of Thunder.
Yes, exactly. It should be full funding, yeah, until this coming Saturday. In the event it doesn't get funded, I'm going to relaunch it at a smaller price point. In other words, a smaller goal. In other words, again, inevitably the comic is going to come out.
All right. This is just a little something I wanted to show off. I'm not going to show the whole thing, just to cover, but this really turned out great, Jared. Congratulations.
Thank you. And the coloring is done on the cover, at least, is done by Dan Kemp, who has colored a lot of Spawn.
Nice. And a tribute to Comicstorian.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But there's another thing I want to announce. I wasn't going to announce this. You know what? It's close to the end of the year. We're gonna get caught up in the holidays. I could probably spoil this just a little bit. Give just a moment, Jared, while I'm pulling this up, where we can find you and what you got coming up on your channel.
Yeah. So as for me, obviously, so check out the most recent episode of Super Wonder Legacy on my channel, where Britt and I compared Superman and Wonder Woman to John Carter and Dejah Thoris. this week, this coming Saturday is our Christmas special. And also for movie night this week, we're going to be talking about John Carter of Mars. Wonder Woman Wednesday, I have to figure out what I'm going to do. But on for Super Pals, Robert and I are going to be analyzing the He Who Must Not Be Named run on Superman. Jay Heat knows who I'm talking about. I'll tell you this. The BMB run on Superman. That's all I'm going to say with that. That's going to be a real fun one. And for Under Two Capes, I got to confirm what the episode is going to be. But yeah, besides that, that's what I got.
All right. As for me, I got some other collabs going on for the channel. Just various games, playthroughs, comics, and just feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And before we go, I just want to show this off. For some reason, technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There we go. Can you see, Jared?
Yes, I can. There you go. I like that.
I'll let this sink for a minute. And this will probably be on its own, probably around the time of Justice League War, but you'll have to stay tuned for when we decide to collab on that one. So yes, we're at least going to now whether or not Dispatch gets a second season, we'll have to wait and see. And depending on how this video does, we may incorporate more elements of Dispatch going forward. Maybe not. Just wait and see. But yes, we are confirming we're going to add elements of Dispatch to the New Direction verse. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. There's so much we could do with it with Dispatch, bro. There's so much.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm not doing the bit. But yeah, thank you so much for all staying up this late and watching the show with us. Y'all have been a terrific audience. And what will our next topic be?
That's a good question. There's so much we can do. Do you want to like bring in a storyline for this, or do you what we could do that actually be kind of fun? I was thinking about this today. We could do some New Direction versus Aquaman.
You don't say.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think we've ever done an Aquaman centered episode before.
You mean something like this?
Oh, hell yeah! Yeah, there you go.
Thumbnail's a bit of a rush job. I might end up redoing it. But yeah, I got like 2 years worth of thumbnails on this drive. Like seriously.
Bro, you are prepared, my friend.
But yeah, I just wanted to make that last minute announcement. Also, I also stay tuned for the next DC solicitation. We're probably going to do February and March because the March 2026 solicitation should come out this week as well. So on that video, we may end up doing both months. And please be sure to watch it. Continue to support us. We greatly appreciate it. And like, comment, subscribe. Sorry. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. Flame off.